It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Hey, Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you're tuning in. It's great to have you in. Yes, clean shaved me, mustache is gone. Sorry, everybody. If you're listening after the fact, you can't witness this momentous event, but happy Friday. It's great to have you guys in. Welcome into DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. It's really good to have you. It's great to see you all. It's great to see you on this Friday afternoon. Yes, I'm looking like a toddler. But we're here talking big boy stuff. We're here talking to some of the best, latest, fresh rumors that we've got so far this offseason. A few things to get off, talk about stuff I got on top of the dome to really dissect, get into. It was great to hear some chatter on the Corey Seager front, but we're going to dive into, realistic versus the lofty type of expectation and those targets that Dodgers fans can really focus on and hopefully not get your hopes up too far. But what I do love is that there are plenty of options around. Like I said on Wednesday's show with Bruce Kuhn, so we had a terrific conversation there. If you'd like to listen that back, it's very much up to date as far as how we both think. People over at DB, we think that I think Bruce does as well, that there are several different avenues the Dodgers can go here to feel content about what the Dodgers can do this offseason to feel comfortable, to fill out their current roster and their roster needs. But Admin says, who's this clean-shaven felon? Where's our Scotty? Look, needed a change. Girlfriend said, there's no shave November. I was like, that still exists? Like I'm, we're 32 years old. We're looking good, though. Appreciate it. Everybody, to the tier ones. They changed the setup with some of the names. They put like @ in front of everybody's name. I don't like it. Not a fan. I wonder if I can change this. Not a fan of it at all. But it's good to have everybody in. It's good to see you all. Any overwhelming thoughts from today? Oh, let me change this. What is this? There we go. Perfect. It's on YouTube now. That's how it is. Anyways, how we doing, tier ones? Any stuff on top of your mind? I'm going to put this in real quick. Let me change something around real fast here. There we go. Solo setup's all good to go. To the early one. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Look, so what I'm going to do later on at the back end of the show is I'm going to answer a bunch of questions. So toss those in right now, and I'm going to star them as we go. So if you have questions you'd like me to talk about, I'm going to do a larger Q&A session today because I know the last show we're running short on time. But if you have questions, you have some idea, something that you want to get off your chest and something that you have, you want me to dive into, please do. What's up, Mike? It's good to see you, man. Yeah, it's off-season mode for me. The Dodgers mustache jinx begins. It'll be back. I just had to give it a fresh start. You guys, come on. So put question if you want me to dive into something, there's probably stuff I've had some late nights where I've just been going down the rabbit hole of players that the Dodgers could acquire, things that they could do. But there is an interesting theme about a lot of these players here that you're going to notice. And toward the trade route, a lot of these players, they're arbitration years, not 1 year guys. They're arbitration deal type of guys. And really gauging the realistic versus the lofty offseason options is something everybody's got to keep in check. The Corey Seager stuff was beautiful, and that made me feel a little bit of something. But I know that that was a rumor. I think I have to find it. I think it was just a a guy put that out there. I think it was, who was it? Evan Grant? I think it was Evan Grant. But the way that the contract for Corey Seager looks right now is 6 years, $189 million left for his age 32 to 37 seasons. So Jeff Spiegel put that out. So I appreciate him for putting that tweet out there. With the injury concerns, doesn't matter. Like, I would do that however it would take to get Seager back in Dodger Blue 10 out of 10 times. Doesn't matter. Left-handed bat, you look at the current options there. I'd feel more comfortable doing a trade like that than, paying Cody Bellinger, paying Kyle Tucker. Doesn't matter. That reigns over everything. But what has to be, kept at the forefront is there's no plans for the Rangers to trade Corey Seager. A trade like that signals a big thing for a franchise. Corey Seager is like a franchise type of player. When a team trades someone like that, it signals a huge shift in what they've got going on. It's like Ketel Marte for the Arizona Diamondbacks. A team would have to hammer them. I know they're going to try to make that trade, make it work, but it's signaling a big shift in what they are doing as a franchise. I know the Texas Rangers have a lot of young players out there that they really love. They've got some young up-and-coming players. Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter has to have a rebound. But there's a ton of youth infusion that would be taking place if you move a player like Corey Seager. So aside from the contract cost, the Dodgers would have to be sending players back. That is the question that would be, kind of carrying that entire trade package. So it would be a lot. It would be a lot. So I tweeted out, stuff about Corey Seager, do it 10 out of 10 times and how incredible that type of move would be. But for the Texas Rangers to do that internally, they'd have to be saying, we're shifting to a new age here. I know they've got, names like Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim on the possible non-tender route. So they're going some ways here, and they're trying to move those players. So they may be, and they're looking to possibly shed a little payroll. It was just a nugget that they put out there. There's no indications that the Texas Rangers are moving off him. Mike puts this up there. Yeah, he said it would be a signal to big rebuild. It would be a big rebuild if they were to do that. That's the way that I see it. So, but what I want people to keep in mind is that a bat like Corey Seager is something that doesn't just come available. That's why he was signed to a 10-year deal. And you look at the consistent options, it's left-handed bat. And I've long said, people got on me about that, but it's a left-handed bat that I believe the Dodgers need. I'm going to remain that. I'm going to keep that. It's a left-handed bat. And then we talk about the realistic option. And I appreciate, Matt Moreno, he had this story for us over on Dodger Blue about the new rumor with St. Louis Cardinal, Brendan Donovan. And he's another guy, left-handed bat, can play in multiple positions here, played the majority of time at second base this last season, sometime at shortstop, sometime in left field. That's how it goes. They're searching for these left-handed bats with arbitration control, team control, so they can set it, possibly forget it, and a player that they know they can count on at the big league level. And that's kind of where I've been. I said this when I was talking about they're trying to find a stable option, some stability there. And it's going to cost them. They're going to have to pay in prospect. They're going to have to pay in cash. It's just the way they're going to have to do it. So with the targets currently available, it's players with arbitration years. And Brendan Donovan has 3. He's got 3. So he's under contract through the 2027 season. This 2026 season is ARB 1 year. So he's currently got estimates of, I think, just under $6 million. That's a contract estimation for him for this year. And then over the next 2 years, you're going to expect that to kind of scale up there. But it's taking him through his age 31 season. But Brendan Donovan is a very highly sought-after piece right now. You look around the rumor mill around Major League Baseball, you'd be hard-pressed to find a team not inquiring about what Brendan Donovan can do. Someone had a 287, 353, 422 slash this last year. playing multiple positions. And the Dodgers love players who can do multiple things. They could play multiple spots. You feel comfortable in that sense. I would say he's not so much a platoon bat. I know JP Morosi has a spot on MLB Network that he's someone you can just leave in there. It's someone that I would consider platooning. And that's how I would do it. Dave, he said Edman is fine for second base. Edman possibly could be out for some time. The Dodgers have no plans of rushing Tommy Edman back. So you're going to see this be a possible thing. You're going to, and Brendan Donovan can play left field. He's graded above average at all three spots that he's played. He can spell at shortstop for Mookie if for whatever reason. Second base, yes, the primary, but the fact that he can play a competent left field is massive. It's massive. Would it command the package of Stephen Kwan? I think it might be right on par. Honestly, I really do. Just the bat to ball profile I like much better. I do. I like much better. And the Guardians value Stephen Kwan as they should. He's an all-star player for them. But I think it's a lot of, smoke and mirrors with the Stephen Kwan stuff. But the package for Brendan Donovan would not substantial, but it would be decent. It would be decent, and it would fill a need. And I'm just trying to get everybody to understand that the Dodgers don't have to make this humongous move to feel good about this offseason. That's just what I'm trying to do. If they do it, then this is what the Los Angeles Dodgers do. But they went into the 2025 offseason. So going in right now, with needs that they've got to fill a corner outfield spot, and they've got to find some place. Tommy Edman's going to be out for some time. Do they hand Ha-Seong Kim the keys at second base? But they need to go in with a plan and someone that, say they go get an outfielder. There's a couple different ways they can go. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand, that if they don't get Cody Bellinger in on that 6-7 year deal that he might want, if they don't sign Kyle Tucker to that short-term high AAV, which I don't think they're going to do. The trade route is the way that I think they're going to go. And Mike says this: I'd be okay with Ha-Seong Kim, giving him a chance. He deserves it. Deserves it is relative to however they see, but they do have options internally that they can run out at second base. They need to find ways to give Max Muncy some time off. Alex Freeland, I really hope he has a rebound. That was the guy that I hoped would kind of take over for, the spot and kind of soften the blow there when Michael Conforto was just on a terrible run. That was the guy I was hoping could do some damage. But Alex Freeland just never grabbed a hold of it. He looked a little bit overwhelmed. Here. All right, give me one sec, Chad. Let me start some stuff here. Ashiv, which are you disagreeing on? They're desperate for dependable bullpen pieces. Always. You always have to search for that, but you have to be mindful of it. That's why with the Raisel Iglesias news and the Dodgers offering it like $16 million, but Raisel choosing to go, choosing to stick. He chose Atlanta, correct? He's stuck with Atlanta. That was it. That's just what they're doing. Yeah, he re-signed with the Braves. So yes, they're looking at 1 year guys. I didn't even have that on my list for today, but I'll get back into that in a bit. Let me start some stuff here, chat. How we feeling though? Other news around sports. Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi are going to be advising for the Los Angeles Lakers. Mark Walter forced them over there, try to bring them to the glory days. Hell of a thing, though. It's pretty a sports group that they're building in Los Angeles sports with the Lakers and the Dodgers, Mark Walter and everything. It's pretty remarkable. That's something that definitely needs to be spoken about more. If Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi are able to put the Los Angeles Lakers on a sustainable path for success, that's just going to be some incredible stuff there. I know the Bus brothers are out, but you'd be hard pressed as a Lakers fan or, a fan of the Bus family to look past what Andrew Friedman's been able to do. with the Dodgers. So really interesting stuff there. I believe Lakers Nation. I believe Trevor Lane. I think Anthony's going to join them for some talk on that here in a little bit. But we're going to get into some of this stuff here. All right, let me get back to it. Sorry, I had to scroll up chat. Cool. As far as Brendan Donovan, some interesting nuggets on him. What I really loved about what Brendan Donovan's been able to do lately is just a really cool thing from, Just Baseball Media. They tweeted this out. Only players in the 21st century to have an OPS above 110 and fewer than 85 strikeouts in each of their first 4 seasons, Ichiro Suzuki, and Brendan Donovan. So what I love about him is that extremely low K rate, great bat to ball rate. There's a lot of things that he does well. My issue is that the Dodgers, I don't think, are going to get into a bidding war, with other teams here on that. They have the prospects that they can definitely jettison out for it. And I think that the Dodgers could do this move. They definitely could do this move. I would like them to do a move with someone with arbitration years because it makes too much damn sense with the current trajectory of, their 4 young outfield prospects out there. Zaire Hope, Quintero, Sirota, and DePaula. So there's some time that has to happen for those young guys to get up here. That's 3 years of arbitration. And it's a way that provides them a little bit of a buffer. That's when Teoscar Hernandez's contract is up. Andy Pages is still under team control, productive, big leaguer. However they want to do that. If it's center field, I don't see center field options aside from Cody Bellinger that I love. I don't want, like, Harrison Bader is one where a return to Philadelphia feels like it's too much of a match made in heaven there. Andy Pages, if there's not a center fielder you love, stick to a corner spot. That's why Brendan Donovan intrigued me. He fits a lot of teams, and that's the problem, is that it's the bidding war aspect. Teams are probably inquiring a lot of different places, but his proficiency at second base and the ability to play left field and center and shortstop as well. I've seen the Astros linked to him quite a bit when I've been searching around Twitter a lot, and I believe that's a way that they could go. If he winds up in Houston, I won't be surprised. Mauricio Dubon's out of Houston, so Brendan Donovan could be a really good get for them. Lou Bob, too much of a risk. I just don't think they're moving him. After how many years we've been having this conversation, Mike? Just way too much. You know what I mean? At a certain point, you just hang up the phone. You say, well, we're not going to do this deal. And Luis Robert, excuse me. I don't keep doing it. He hasn't risen. He hasn't fallen out of this funk for years. It's just the type of player he was several years ago when he was at his peak. It's the trade value just isn't there. The White Sox, let's say this, Mike. Let's say he gets to mid-year and he's doing his thing. I still don't know if I would do it. Then it's just playing right into what the White Sox want. They held on to him all this time. See when he hits free agency. You know what I mean? Yeah, BC says not a funk. He just sucks. At this point, the hype's so died down. I'm off that wagon. Yeah, Edward. He's Andrew Friedman, senior advisor for the Lakers. Super interesting stuff. I know the boys over at Lakers Nation are going to dive into that. Trevor, Anthony Witrado, they're going to get into it a bit. Yeah, BC, this is a real him. So let's talk about the expectation for, the big type of name. I want to keep touching on Corey Seager real quick before I get past this move. We've seen a move like this with the San Francisco Giants and the Boston Red Sox as far as moving over a ton of contract costs. I think it was $250 million that Devers is still owed. And they sent 4 players back to the Boston Red Sox. Not, Tibbs was even in that deal, and he's with the Dodgers now. So I think it was Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, Tibbs, and then one more. And Jordan Hicks has not panned out. Kyle Harrison still TBD, and Tibbs is a Dodger. So it's just a prospect cost type of thing. 2 guys that didn't work out in Boston. One's now a Dodger, and just money swap. Just a money swap. But Corey Seager doesn't have those same type of concerns internally. It's just the franchise piece that is Corey Seager to the Texas Rangers is something that Sounds great. But the reality of it is that would signal a big shift to what they're doing internally with the Texas Rangers in the future of that franchise. So the Dodgers could do it quite easily, I would say. And with his AAV and the Dodgers, the players that the Dodgers would be sending back, it would be a great move for both sides. But it would signal a big shift. And that's why I don't think that would be something that they're going to do. So got to temper those things real quick. Had to make sure I get that loud and clear, that I won't be on the forefront of saying that this is a move that can easily be made, because this is not something that they've hinted at all. It would come out of nowhere. It would come out of nowhere. Showtime, let me put that up. I'll get to that in a little bit. Austin says, as long as Kershaw stays retired, I'm good. Hey, man, 3-time champ. He could do whatever the hell he wants. He could do whatever the hell he wants. Hope he does, too. I know he's been at some NBA games, hanging out with Jock Peterson and all that. Just do your thing, man. Do your thing, Kersh. Any disagreements there? I think everybody's on that same thing. It's that this is a move that we saw it and everybody wants to trade chatter. I just don't think that it's a realistic thing. Something that sounds great. Just an unrealistic thing until something internally comes out from the Texas Rangers. And even then, they won't do that. It'll be something that'll come out of nowhere and the Dodgers have to, wow. The prospects that'll go back will surprise people if that's the case. It's not just a money dump. I've seen the term contract dump. Corey Seager type player, it's not a money dump. I got you, Samuel. Again, everybody, put all the questions in there, stuff you want me to get into. Longer Q&A today. But the realistic options for me still remain Jarren Duran, Stephen Kwan with as much smoke. There's fire there. Brendan Donovan is definitely a piece that they could look to acquire. Brandon Lau. If there's somebody at second base, they want to figure out a way there. But again, I'm just going to say, let's see what Hesson Kim has. Let's see what Hesson Kim has and see how much he can handle. Platoon-wise, remains to be seen against left-handed pitching. But the bat to ball and the speed and the defensive stuff is definitely intriguing from Hesson Kim. When he was at that peak there, I know that was outperforming even his own and the Dodgers' expectations there in year one. But you saw the lull and the league caught up. Let's see how he punches back, because that's how these young players have to do it. Even rookies, guys coming over first time around. Yep. Yeah, Mike, I got it. I'm with you, brother. The glove is something special. I love Hesson Kim's glove. At second base, let's see what he's got. And that's where having everybody relax on Tommy Edman and rushing him back. Let's see how that ankle responds with Tommy Edman. With the ankle procedure, give him all the time. The Dodgers need to give him all that time, and I expect them to. When you're ready, that's it. Matty, man, what's up, man? He says, the Dodgers seem to give everyone under the sun 150 at-bats, but Hesson Kim. Yeah, facts. I don't know. They have these stances on guys, and then you get like James Outman and Michael Conforto getting the world. I got to humor myself real quick. One of my buddies who knows I've just both that pair there, Outman and Conforto, sent me a thing this morning. I got to look up how many at-bats did Michael Conforto get this year? 486 plate appearances. Oh, kill me. World Series champ, though. Matty, man, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. It's not Blake Williams, admin. It's not. Yeah, too many, Mike. Too many. Nah, it's somebody from my my boys' chat. It's a crazy thing. Just a crazy thing. Are we? Yeah, we're in off-season mode. We're in my thoughts mode. The fact that it went that long and that his little spurt before the trade deadline was the reason that they avoided a left-handed bat. We all know that. I think we all knew that was going to be the case. Anybody else sitting there like, yeah, this turnaround is sustainable. And then I saw Blake Williams, like the Jack Nicholson gif, like shaking his head, yes, like believing that was the case or the turnaround or that it was just going to nuke it into the ground. That's how I felt. No believers in the building. If I see one, Conforto jersey around Dodger Stadium, I'll be like, they bought it that week. They said, this is the turnaround. This is it. Postseason lore is written. But it was Will Klein who carried the torch. W. Will Klein. Mike says I was rubbing my hands together during that Angels sweep. Yeah. All right. Let's see this. Yeah. James says it was hilarious. They kept running him out there all year, then stopped as soon as I think they saw the writing. It was like the last week before, a few days beforehand. They're like, this guy stinks. Admin, here we go, baby. He says Jeff and Blake were all in on the Fort train. Jeff knows. He knows what he's up to. He's the what is his words? Nah, I credit him for it. I'll give him that. Blind optimism. W 2 years in a row. What are you gonna say? It's maddening to watch when the players stink. But yeah, there was nothing there. Bat to ball profile sucked. Outcomes should have been different. Who cares? At a certain point, sample size matters, gentlemen. And that's how it goes. See how this works? See how this works? That's showbiz, though, baby. You get the topics that make people mad, including the host. And that's how it goes. All right, let me pull up some of these here. Again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening after the fact, do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, however you consume your podcasts, thank you for tuning in. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a beautiful one. The latest rumors, the Corey Seager stuff, we had to quiet down a little bit, but Brendan Donovan, St. Louis Cardinals, kind of utility man, Brendan Donovan stuff is very real. His name is out there with a lot of teams. There's a lot of value to be had there. It will come with a decent cost. So tune this stuff back, listen to that conversation there. It's someone that Dodgers fans should be on notice for. If you want to take a little bit of a dive into his stuff there, intriguing hitter profile and a versatile piece. And that's something where the realistic, expectations come into play here. We're going to start here at the top. Back-to-back says, Scott, do you prefer Cody Bellinger or Byron Buxton? Interesting question. I don't think we got into this too much on Wednesday, but I know when I was on with, I think, Anthony the week prior, I think the Buxton stuff kind of reigned over, but I think with what I've seen Cody Bellinger do since leaving LA, he's earned the contract that he is going to be getting. I really do believe that. And with the needs of a center fielder, a proven glove in the outfield, kind of how he's transformed himself into this piece here. I don't buy into the home road stuff. Those things are a year-to-year trend. I'm not that big of a guy on saying, this last year home road splits. I'm glad he exploited Yankee Stadium. That's what he should do. Be a superstar in Yankee Stadium, dominate when you're at home. If you're fine on the road, that's cool with me. When Freddie Freeman's contract's up, if they want to slide him over to first and they have a center field option, that's great too. It just lines up. It's just cash on his end there. Byron Buxton, how much is he going to play? It's a few years stuff there. You're going to have to probably give him an extension. You're going to have to pay him to waive that no trade clause. And he's going to cost prospects, upper echelon prospects. The Twins are on the verge of a rebuild there. They're right there. Yes, Matty Man, it's a great stuff here. I'm putting this up because this is if you followed this, like my BC says no former Dodgers, but yeah, Matt, if you followed kind of how I've been saying things, is that there's a lot of different avenues the Dodgers can go that I feel content. If they make moves on the margins, cool with me. Moves on the margins are what win teams championships. It's those role player guys and those other moments where a player doesn't come up. They do need a left fielder. They do need a left-handed bat, in my opinion. They need something. They don't have to go out there and trade for the Corey Seager. If they bring in Cody Bellinger, that's great. They don't have to bring in Byron Buxton just because he's out there. And this is where I go with it. And it's not the sole thing. Mike says, I need our bench to be better. I need that bottom half to be good. I need that rotational stuff, those platoon pieces to be much, much better. It's going to elevate, say, what guys like Alex Call can do. They can get back to their platoon-based one spot if that's how they choose, but they have to improve on that end. And they've tried it for 2 years now. They got to do it now. They've got to find, in my opinion, a left-handed bat. They've got to find an outfielder, and they've got to improve those platoon role spots. It makes them much more well-rounded as an offensive unit. And that's where they were deficient. You've got to have some of those mercenaries in the offense that can go out there and strictly do a job. I know that the Dodgers offense in 2024 was incredible in the postseason. 2025, they slogged. And they need to have some mercenary pieces, get back to the original stuff that they dominated so well with. So I need the bench to be better. You've got to find those moves on the periphery that matter. And that's like Matty Man said, it's going to come with those smaller, smart moves. They need to find a way to find some good, if it's a platoon, then they've got to find a very high-end platoon, or they've got to go find a player that they know is a consistent big leaguer. And all the ones that they've been linked to have some years of arbitration, years of control, which to me tells this same thing. They're trying to find some stable options, players with control that they can get in there, set it, forget it. They're cost controlled because they're in arbitration years, and then go from there. And that's where I'm seeing it. But they've got some money to spend. They've got 80 plus million coming off the books here. That'd be not necessarily, Dave. They don't have to trade for that big bat. There's big bats on the free agent market. It just all depends if they can afford them. They can't afford it all. Kyle Tucker, can they afford that? Loaded response there. Loaded response there. It's being smart about the ones. The Murakami, Kyle Tucker. They'll use $80 million to lower ticket prices. No chance. You guys all wanted this. Everybody wanted this. Won't find me at many games. I said, Scott, do you have any thoughts on that Ward trade that might influence the trade market? The Grayson Rodriguez and Taylor Ward trade between Baltimore and the Angels. Quality trade for both sides. Good outfielder in Taylor Ward. Injury history, just weird stuff happens to Taylor Ward. Gets hit in the face. Like it feels like a yearly basis, unfortunately. Quality outfielder, tons of pop there. Grayson Rodriguez, I think he's coming off Tommy John, so gets himself healthy. He can be a front-end rotation piece for the Angels, and that's something that, again, the youth. They're trying to do some things there, turn their team around. They understand that they've got a lot going on. They've got some young players there. Zach Neto, big fan of Zach Neto. There's a lot of stuff the Angels are doing with just young players. They give them a lot of time. So when they develop it, you see it right before your eyes. It doesn't take years. Thoughts on Wiley Abreu? I haven't looked too much into him. I know that there's 4 outfielders that the Red Sox like, and it feels like an odd man out scenario. They don't necessarily have to trade anybody. I don't hate Wiley Abreu. Anybody who said that? Who said that? I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into him, but I just think there's other avenues they could go. I don't hate him. Who said that? It says Scotty hates Wiley Abreu. Not a chance. You guys are crazy. Let's see. Seager doesn't want to come back to LA. You guys are tripping. I mean, it is what it is. If he's isn't on the no trade thing, it's, suck it up, Siegs. Come back, win a title. It's just unrealistic. We already talked about this. We're not tripping. I already said I don't think it's going to happen. You read it. You're reading the headline and just tuning in to type that, but that's all right. You can just rewind back and you can roll with us. Laura, yeah. Clean shaven is a crazy, crazy look, but that's how it goes. BC says, get Bichette. That would be a huge haymaker to the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a very intriguing piece. He looked solid at second base, even with a banged up knee. It's going to extend what he's got there. And he was a frustrating hitter to pitch against, guaranteed, because the bread and butter of what a lot of these guys are doing is you're trying to spin them out of the strike zone. It just felt like Bo Bichette was waiting for that to happen. Just spin me out of the strike zone. I'm going to go down there and bang it. He had a weird postseason from a scent that I was looking like, how do you pitch him? I haven't seen this from Bo Bichette. He was an interesting piece. So yeah, if that's the case, if their Dodgers can find a way, if they want to dip into that high-end market, go get Bo Bichette, man. The hell with it. It was sick. He had that homer off Ohtani where he was just left in an inning too long, no doubt. But yeah, Bichette injured, still hit better than any Dodger, no doubt. that was an incredible postseason moment. In an alternate universe, I'm sure there's some Toronto Blue Jays fan that after that homer, they went and had a big old family event, and they were like, "We won the World Series," and then it doesn't matter. But Bo Bichette was a postseason. He found a way to make him into a feared bat, which is something that came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere here. Nicole says this: does the front office want to give up picks for Bo Bichette, though? I think they're in a spot they feel good about it, Nicole. I really do. Qualifying offer stuff, I think they're at a spot that I don't think it matters to them too much. The Dodgers, I think, feel pretty good. Their infield depth right now from a prospect mark, is something that I'm sure they'd like to shore up there. They don't have to worry about having 4 or 5 catchers in the organization anymore. They just don't need to do that. They love to draft pitching, acquire pitching, fix pitching, and possibly trade pitching out. But it's teams that have young and controllable arms that have a lot going for them. You can deal them out, use them, and go from there. So as far as the draft pick attached to them, I don't think they care too much. I'll keep it a buck with you. I don't think they mind too much at all. Bo Bichette having the qualifying offer attached, I don't think the Dodgers mind whatsoever. It's always a wrinkle in it, but it's not something that would hold them back if that's the case. Matty Man says, why isn't anyone concerned about Bichette's injury history? I mean, it's worth noting, and that goes into every cost evaluation for a free agent. Definitely. A lot of lower leg injuries, though. 3 times with the knee, 2 times with the calf, quad, a lot of lower leg injuries, which is why second base hopefully will extend that shelf life here. Sports Meme Channel, any fantasy talking here? Nah, you won't find any fantasy talking here. It's off-season, man. Sorry about that. Pull up a chair, stay a while, though. But no fantasy talking here. The fantasy talk is trading for Corey Seager, I'll tell you that. That's where we're at. TQT, there's been some talk about Hope's hit tool and red flags surrounding it. Should they sell on Hope before it's too late? I mean, if you think you know about it, then other teams know about it. That's just how it goes. You got to see how he pans out. Dodgers don't like to sell low on prospects. Can they deal from that depth? For sure. But DePaula is the one that teams want. Quintero are the ones that teams want, I would say. Hope's a solid put-together prospect, though. He's a unit from a body standpoint. Has to continue to develop. If they do, it's not something where it's live or die. Good to have you guys in here. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Friday. Samuel says, why not go for Duran? He'll cost some prospects, but he'll be around for a good while, and he's young, not to mention the grit he puts in every game. He plays the game hard. Plays the game hard there. I think it's 2 years of control, so not for a good while. He's just got 2 arbitration years left. So cost controlled there for sure. Platoon bat for sure. But that's someone, Samuel, that I've talked about, that the type of game that he brings, the speed, proficiency against right-handed pitching as a left-handed bat, that's something that I like. It's a very plus thing for me in my search for an outfield piece. We'll see how it pans out. Can't stray too far in just because there's a few options. I don't think Dodgers want Taylor Walls. Sports Meme. There's a guy named Mookie Betts who contended for a Gold Glove. I think they're all right with that until somebody gets in there and they bump him off. Yeah, Rosie says, I think Duran would be good. We have the veterans that can reel him in. Yeah, I mean, Duran plays the game hard. I'll tell you that much. But the Dodgers have a clubhouse culture that players come into, and they feel the vibe, they feel the aura that they've got in there. Stuff doesn't change. They've got a status quo that helps them win. Dave Roberts at the helm. You've got enough star power in there where there's a baseline status quo. And that's the stuff that, players want. It's a winning culture, and you feel it. That's why guys like Blake Snell, first thing offseason, it was, how can I be a Dodger? How can I be a Dodger? Let's see here. All right, I'll take a few more here. Last couple. Last call for questions here. Any of you guys have out-of-the-box ideas on stuff like that, please let me know. I'll tell you this on the bullpen front. The Dodgers offering Raisel Iglesias a $16 million thing for a one-year contract says a lot. It says a lot about where they're targeting, the bullpen stuff. They want a 1 year. I said with Bruce about having a 1-1 for Devin Williams signals to me that the Dodgers will have to pay for that 1 year guy. They might have to overpay to where you see that 1 year number and you're like, what in the hell? But that's the going rate. Pitching is expensive. The Dodgers have a need, but they've got some arms there. I was talking about the some of the youth movement that they got. They've got Gavin Stone coming back, River Ryan coming back, that definitely help out a major league rotation. What's going to happen toward the end of the season is a different story, and how those arms again can supplement the bullpen. Back-to-back says, yeah, Devin Williams is going to be a Dodger. He wants to come here. Money talks, man. Money talks. They probably have multiple offers. He wants to be a Dodger, but they've got multiple offers. It's kind of like, if they'll take this, then great. We can check this off and then move on. Now they're moving into the plan B on that front. I wonder if they just didn't think that Raisel Iglesias would sign this early. I wonder if that was the case, and where they had Raisel on their list. If he was their number one guy because he was a 1 year deal thing, that's intriguing. It just tells you where their mind's at. Let me see. Does Evan Phillips get, I'm sure you were saying non-tendered today. I don't think so. Maybe. It's interesting. That's a way to look at it. I don't know when he'll be ready. Yeah, I got you. I don't know when he'll be ready. I haven't seen projections on him. Let's see. Scott, how do you think coaches and analytics departments will leverage ABS data for the future? It definitely changes a good bit. As far as the challenge stuff, I'll just speak directly on like the game day thing, because analytics wise, they're going to players who have elite eyes. I think that's going to be, an even bigger thing. You're going to have a strategy wise of telling some players that have the worst eye. Like, I want Andy Pages having no business challenging one pitch his entire career, unless it's like he can, it's something down the middle and he knows it. But I want players who are notorious for chasing out of the zone having no business challenging anything. Like Mookie Betts, for him, perchance, like that's a guy. I want Mookie Betts challenging as much as possible. Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, guys who know the zone. But I want that I can speak on that level. As far as the analytics, they're going to be looking at stuff like that. From the pitcher sense, from a hitting department scouting, like a pitcher on that stuff is where I'd like to know. Where are they getting these calls? How much are overturned? I want to know the data on that. Where are things challenged? Where are these umpires calling it? That's what I want to know. Yeah, Mookie Betts always gets BS calls. Mookie Betts gets absolutely. He gets taken. Yeah, Mookie Betts has one of the worst strike zones against ever. It's a lot. All right, let's see. It says, sign Bellinger for how many years and how much? Will you play Bellinger at right, Pies in center, Bellinger in center? Pie, no, it'll be you guys. I don't see Teoscar in right anywhere here, Tien. Teoscar's not moving until they force him out. He's sticking in right field. Pies is a left fielder in that scenario for me, and Bellinger would be in center field. I'm surprised he didn't put Teoscar in right. They're not moving him out. People were asking me about Kenley Jansen though, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. On the non-tender front, people talk about Bruce Dark Gratterall in the chat about possibly being non-tendered. BC says, yeah, he hasn't played in basically 2 years. He's not ready yet. He wasn't ready for the postseason, barely pitched. Yeah, interesting stuff on that end. The non-tender list is going to be something that is intriguing for sure. Dave said Tyler Glasnow could try out as a small forward for the Lakers. Yeah. If they're out on that front, just, hey, come on over here. Water's fine. Mike says this, with the amount of pitching depth we have, why don't we, see more piggyback pitching? Pitchers can flex. It's not a traditional thing. It just, you can't, those type of things, unless it's like someone you're on a pitch count limit, like stuff like that, then you can kind of line that up that way. But I think fans get caught up in the idea of it, but the execution is something that just, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out on a consistent basis. Like those ideas were thought of in the postseason, and look, it doesn't work out like that. You can't line up those guys. It's all game to game dependent. Game script matters a lot, and game script changes in game. So the idea of it, Michael, sounds good. It's just not something that is sustainable, because things change. Things change for sure. Cool. All right, everybody. I think that's it. Let me see this last one here. Wouldn't it be better for the Dodgers to trade for Seager instead of Quan or Buxton? Would take on big contract in return, not giving up prospect capital. You would have to be giving up prospect capital. You'd be giving up, I think, more. I think Buxton would be the most. I think Byron Buxton would be the most as far as prospect capital going back. Corey Seager, you'd be giving up a bit. You're getting a top end. This guy, like Corey Seager, would have been an MVP candidate if he doesn't get hurt, if he's not out for a little bit of time. Like, he had an exceptional offensive season in a short bit of time. Defense, he's kind of figured a little bit out there. So Corey Seager wouldn't just be prospect or, contract dump. He'd be sending back, the Dodgers would be sending back a lot of prospect capital back. But it's not up to Corey Seager. It's the Texas Rangers would have to signal a pretty big franchise shift away from competing, because that's a big time bat that helped them directly win a World Series, brought them from the dead in that game 1 against the Diamondbacks. Man, 2-time World Series MVP. He's a GOAT. He's a GOAT. All right, everybody. Again, thank you all for tuning in here to the Tier 1s. To the Tier 2s. I appreciate you all being in here too. Next week, like I said, I tweeted that out, or I put that on a comment. I'll say it right here. Wednesday, Friday, we'll be here. Barring anything breaking, we'll keep you posted on that. And then if so, we'll hop on here. We'll see what we got. We'll talk everything. Rumor mill continue to churn here. We're still in the early part, but as always, through this little holiday season, there's a dead period. So from now and through Thanksgiving, stuff like that, Major League Baseball kind of has like a thing where there's a dead period built in there. So following Thanksgiving here, leading up to Christmas time, a lot of moves are going to be made there. So this next little bit. So enjoy the calm and go from there. Things are going to ramp up. But again, we'll be back here next Wednesday, and I'll see you again on Friday. But I'll keep you posted on the sense, everything toward that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for avoiding your work obligations to listen in. If you're listening after the fact, I appreciate you too. Tier 1s, Tier 2s, Tier 3s. You guys are the best. Thank you for making this possible. Again, my name is Scott Geirman. Thanks for tuning in to DodgerHeads Unplugged. Thanks for tuning in to fans or, stuff on the Dodger Blue channel. Thank you for hitting our 100K mark. We don't do this without all of you guys. And BC says this, 3-peat or bust. We'll keep breaking it all down. Rumor mill keeps churning. Enjoy your rest of your weekend. Until I can't say it anymore. Go Dodgers.